The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
People get ready for the train to come. You don't need no baggage, you just need on board. You need everything to get the Jesus.
Hello, everybody out there listening to ARM Radio. Thank you for tuning into my show, All Aboard. My name is Donald Whisman, and this show is being broadcast live from Boston, Massachusetts. And tonight, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, because next week's show will be on December the 26th. Christmas will be over, and we'll be actually heading into the new year, 2018. Man, this time sure flies by, you guys. And like always, I want to send my prayers out to all the men and women serving in our military, past and present. And I also want to send my prayers out to the families that lost their loved ones on that Amtrak train derailment in Washington State. We know they need the prayers. So, a lot of people got hurt. So let's pray for those people out there. And last week, I know we didn't go live last week, but I want to tell you guys this week something I told everybody last week. I want to let everyone out there know that I am a God-loving, flag-waving, Trump-supporting, Constitution-loving, patriotic American that loves my country. We are the land of the free because of the brave, you guys, and that is true. And every time I hear the national anthem, or I hear taps being played, or I look up and I see old glory flying in the wind, I get a patriotic chill up my spine, and I cry American tears. You guys, that's just the way I am. Now, let me introduce my guest tonight, you guys. I've got 3 guests on here tonight. I've got Mr. Les Skymo. Les, if you want to say hello to everybody, go ahead.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody around the world.
And I've got Chad Lipscomb, a.k.a. Bama Boys from Alabama. And Chad's got a little special thing he wants to do tonight, everybody.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Well, that was so cute. Chad, that was cute, buddy.
Amen
that
on
was
that,
nice.
brothers.
Yes, sir.
Amen on that. That's all I got to say.
Well, that is Chad talking, you guys. He is a Bama. His nickname's Bama Boy. You guys, I don't know about you guys, but Jimmy says that we all 3 sound Southern on here, but I think Chad sounds more Southern than me and Les do. I don't know.
Be honest with you, Donald, I think my daughter sounds more Southern than I do.
Exactly.
She probably does. She does, brother. And you guys, well, let's get on the board and let's get this show on the road. How's that sound, fellas?
That sounds great to me.
Well, we know the pecking order. I guess Les and Jimmy's the oldest, so we'll see what they have to say. But tonight I want to start this show off, you guys. You guys know that the House just passed a new tax reform bill. It passed with 227 votes, okay? The bill, I think 300 people voted against it, you guys. And that was Democrats.
No, 203.
203 voted against it. And it was mostly Democrats. I think there was like 12 Republicans that voted against it. And you guys, I want to ask you guys something. Why in the world would these Democrats and some of these daggone Republicans vote against something that's going to help this country? I don't understand it, you guys. Les, you be first. Chime in. Why is people voting no on something that's going to help this country?
Well, we're not top priority to some of them, Donald. Is one reason. These people, they've been embedded for so long in that position, whether they're congressmen or senators, and they have over the years the system has been so contaminated and corrupted by people like a lot of the people we got in there right now. And one of my big questions about this whole deal was I heard today that it's supposed to be revenue neutral. You've heard the term, we've got to pay for the tax cut, and they're saying it's revenue neutral. That means that the government is not losing any money. that they're going to take in the same amount of money after this tax cut than before the tax cut. Now, to me, that just sounds that don't sound right, brother. Because if the people get a tax cut, it seems to me like the federal government takes in less money. If they get a real bona fide tax cut, the federal government should take in less revenue. Now, I know there's times when, these tax cuts will go to businesses and they will accumulate more wealth and they will pay more taxes and the government will take in more money or they'll take in the same amount of money. Now, I don't know exactly what that was projected on, okay, when they scored that thing. All right, but if they really got a tax cut just on its face, if we really got a tax cut without all the projections, okay, on its face, the government should be taking in less money.
What do you think, Chad? What do you think? Why is people voting no against something that's going to help our country, Chad?
Well, be honest with you, Donald, we had 12 Republicans that voted against it.
Right.
I sent you the paperwork on that one.
Yeah, I messed it up. I had it written down here. I read the wrong numbers. I'm sorry.
But it doesn't matter. But there was 12 of them that voted against it. The thing about it is, back in the day, Democrats cared about the people. Nowadays, it's not about the Democrats. It's about all of us in the conservative view that care about America. We've always cared about America. And this tax bill, to me, it should be to each one of you a great deal. Jimmy, what do you think?
Go ahead. Somebody was going to talk.
Well, anyway, Ted, I was going to ask you now, the House voted on this and it passed through the House. Now, they said the Senate was supposed to vote on it today. I have not heard anything back from the Senate. And then it's supposed to go to Trump's desk. What's going on with the Senate, brother?
Okay, well, what's going to happen with that right there, Donald, is once it's passed through the Senate, then it has to go back to the House. Got me? You understand me?
That's if the Senate's amended or change it. That's why it's got to go back to the House.
Yeah.
They can accept it as it is right now,
Right.
but I bet you there's going to be changes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be changes. But the thing about that is, once them changes are made, everyone in the Senate should pass it with the Vice President breaking the tie agreement.
Right, because Susan Collins is going to be a no vote.
Yeah. Then that way it goes to the president's desk and then he signs it. But it's gonna be after the first of the year before that happens.
So that's why Mike Pence, he put off, I guess he was going to go over and take a trip, and he put that trip off, you guys, so he could be here for that vote, just in case he had to do the tiebreaker. But now, if it goes to the president's desk, can he veto it, or do you think he's going to, is this what he's pushing for, exactly what they're voting for in the Senate and the House?
Oh, yeah, he can veto that if he wants. But now it's going to have to be really drastic changes for him to do that. This is a big deal to President Trump. And, hey, I've been a supporter from him, of his, from the get-go. And but now here's what the trap I don't want him to fall into, Donald. And, you heard the saying, half a loaf's better than none. Well, that's fine and dandy in a lot of cases, okay? But I don't want him to sign a rotten bill just to say that he got something passed. I don't think that's the politicians done. That's what they've done from for years and years. And I don't want, I'm still worried about him falling in to their trap and becoming one of them. I just pray that he's vigilant enough and strong enough and keeps the spine that he has. I want him to be Donald Trump. I don't want him to be rolled, and so, but this is very important to him, and I do believe it will be good for America. I'm all for it. And I hope I'm wrong about some of the things I think about it.
Well, since you brought that up, I know Chad's probably wanting to elaborate on this, and Timmy, but Les, you brought up something. You brought up something that I was thinking about earlier. To me, when we send people to Washington, I don't know if you guys remember that old movie called Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It seems like to me, when you send a lot of people to Washington, they get this Washington bug. It's like something takes them over, and they forget about us, we the people, after they become a president or after they become a senator or a congressman. They tend to it's like that movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, something like Les was talking about. And yes, I don't want Donald Trump to get caught up into that crap. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Sorry about the body snatches. That's what I forgot what I was going to say.
That's funny. But you got anything you want to elaborate on, Chad, on that?
Yes, sir. I actually do, because I believe in this president. I mean, everybody's hounding on him, beating him up so daggum bad, and they just don't know that. He's an outsider, and the last one that tried to be a president on the outside, Ross Perot. Am I not correct, Jimmy?
That's right.
So who did you like, Ross Perot, Jimmy?
I voted for him both times.
Oh, okay, all right.
But he put himself
joined his fan club.
He pulled himself out of that race, and guess what, people? I don't care if you're Republican, Democrats, whatever, liberal crybabies, snowflakes. I don't care. Donald J. Trump.
He should have never ran for third party. He should have ran Republican.
You're right. Well, you guys, let's move on to the next story, you guys. I hate to move it slow, but there is a lot that's happened this week, you guys. Now, China and Russia, they're pushing back on Trump after he has addressed his national security strategy on Monday at the Ronald Reagan building. Now, this national security strategy is required for the president to do this by Congress. Now, to me, what I heard was basically about America first. But Trump made some tough comments about China and Russia, Iran and North Korea. He said they are rival powers, and old Russia and China, they didn't care too much for the president's remarks, and Trump called out Moscow for its invasions of Georgia, the country of Georgia and the Ukraine, and I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. He was over in China here not too long ago, so I don't know why President Trump would be talking about China and Russia like that. What do you guys think?
Well, Donald, you got to think of this too. These leaders in China and Putin up there in Russia, they're not going to be rolled out in public. They have to, their mentality is, I have to look like I'm strong. I got to look like I'm standing up to this guy. And they've got their image to protect, but now, I really think Putin is going to come around. I don't know about China now, but now China's not, they're a little bit worried, I think, about our relationship with North Korea, and they're trying to figure out how to handle that. But I really think Putin is going to come around to deal with Donald Trump, and I don't think that relationship is as bad as it appears on the surface. We get all this Russian investigation, all this nonsense out of the way. The dust settles. I think you'll see a relationship there come to the surface where they can work with one another and deal with each other.
Well, Chad,
Donald Trump, and thanked him for giving him intelligence that there was going to be a terrorism hit in Russia.
That's right.
So, like I said, he's thankful to Trump for this one. because that saved lives of what they said, thousands of lives.
I was reading about that, Jimmy. I was reading about that. I don't know. Somebody left. I think. I don't know if it's Bama boy or not, but somebody left, you guys. But we're still going to carry on here. I don't know what happened there, but Les, and Jimmy and everybody out there listening, I want to tell you straight off the bat that I support the truck drivers in this country, and they got this new thing. It's ELD, electronic logging device. I mean, this is bad for American truckers, you guys. And I also support President Trump, but and I know all this came about like a month before our president took oath. This thing with these electronic logging devices for our truckers. So I would ask our president, please, Mr. President, get out your ink pen and make a presidential order to help out our truckers, because without our truckers, you guys, our country will come to a screeching stop.
Yeah. Now, Donald, I don't know if he can sign an executive order on that or not, if that was part of another bill that they crammed in, or if that was just regulations dreamed up by the Transportation Department. But now I'm with you. At one time, my dad was a truck driver. I've got a really good friend of mine that's a truck driver, and 10 hours, man, you got to pull that joker over, and it's we don't have to do that as individuals.
Good point. Good point, Les. Good daggone point right there. To me, that is, these people, me and you were talking about this, these truck drivers, time is money, Les. Time is money, brother. So come on, tell me more about these truck drivers, what they go through, Les.
Well, it's a strain on them. They sleep odd hours. That's a tough job, brother. They're away from home. You're cross-country truckers. There's not a whole lot of, there's a lot, but there's not as many, I don't think, independent truckers as they used to be. But be that as it may, either one, time is money. You know what you're capable of doing. I know what I'm capable of doing. And they do all this stuff. They analyze all these accidents, highway speeds. Now, here in Ohio, we used to have a split speed, and 65 for cars, and it was 55 for semis. And it was like driving in NASCAR, man. Everything was always jammed up, and but it slowed these truckers down, and they put all this under the guise of safety, and Big Brother is always trying to look out for somebody. But now, I would dare to say, I don't think I'm going out on a limb, that it made no difference in the safety aspect whether they was driving 10 hours a day or 17, 18 hours a day. They can juggle the numbers, they can pull a rabbit out of a hat or whatever they want to do. But I find it hard to believe that it made any difference on the highways, except take money from hard-working American truckers.
You're absolutely right. Jimmy, you got anything you want to say about the American truck drivers?
I don't know any, and I've never done it.
What's going on with them right now? They're trying to watch them on they're low jacking their trucks basically.
This is the first time I've heard of them with the different speed limit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you though, Les.
It's not up that way up here in the Northeast. I know that.
Well, see, Jimmy, we was one of the. I don't think we was the only state, but that went on for several years, and then now they bumped it up. Everybody can drive 65, and in some areas now here in Ohio, you can drive 70, and it's the same for everybody now. But it was like that for several years. Truckers hated to drive through Ohio because of that split speed limit. And it all goes to the money, Jimmy. They would lose money driving through Ohio.
Would they go around?
Well, if it was efficient for them, they would go around. Because what would happen, they would have to calculate where they was at on their logbook, electronic logbook, and they would try to get through Ohio before they had to stop for their 10-hour break. And it was a mess. It was, and every trucker I ever talked to, they complained about it so much. And Alabama, and 70 mile an hour. I guess about everywhere you go. Anytime I went through Alabama, it's 70 mile an hour from one end to the other, as far as I know. And
let me ask you a question though, Les. And I see Chad's back. I hope his microphone's working good. I'll ask you guys both this question.
Hey, Donald. Hey, guys, can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
yeah,
You're coming through. But here's the question, you guys. I'll start with Les, and then we'll work it down. But since we're talking about truck drivers, we know this big tax reform deal is going through. It's going to help the big businesses and stuff like that. And you guys know that President Trump is trying to deregulate a lot of these big corporations, right? So why doesn't he go out and try to deregulate the trucking industry? Come on, get rid of those regulations on these poor truck drivers. I mean, some of these people are owner-operators. They own their own trucks. They can't afford these low jacks. And
if it falls under the EPA, they are getting rid of them.
Well, I hope they do. We need to help our truckers, you guys. Our truckers are number one to me. And President Trump, as much as I support him, if he doesn't try to at least help our American truckers, I'll speak against him on it, you guys. I'll call him out if he's wrong. I will.
Well, see, the American trucker, he is the railroad of the highway. Because when our goods and services comes by rail, it don't go nowhere else unless it's moved by a semi, by a tractor trailer. And, like I say, these guys are away from home. A lot of them are not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. And it's a rough life to do what them guys do. And I really appreciate them because, boys, without them, where would the rest of this country be? And
We'd starve to death.
Yeah, and here's another thing, Donald. I remember a day when diesel fuel was cheaper than gas. Now, you tell me why that diesel has tripled
taxes.
And you're probably right, Jimmy. Now, that galls me, brother. I don't like that. When these diesel prices went up like they did, brother, that's another stranglehold, especially for the independent trucker. And I remember when they done that, when that skyrocketed, man, they was singing the blues, brother. And I want to see that come back down, comparable to a gallon of gas.
Well, we better bring Chad up to date. Chad, we're talking about the truckers, how they're putting this new E-log on their trucks, and they're hurting the trucking industry, buddy.
Yes, sir. I understand completely what you're talking about. I just lost y'all just for a few seconds, sir, and everything. But I mean, you gotta look at it like this. I mean, you and I and Les talked about this. It doesn't matter if I'm in the vehicle and I drive 15 hours. Why do you want to put a trucker, on limitations? Why?
There you go. Les said that. Yeah, Les brought that up. Is it going to be us next, the driver, out here taking our family on vacation? Are they going to limit us and shut our cars down after 10 hours of driving? That would be unconstitutional.
That's exactly right. I mean, we have a freedom right to go anywhere we want to go.
You're right, brother. And now we'll move on to a news story, you guys. Anyway, I was reading the news, and the news report says that Saudi air defenses intercepted a ballistic missile today, fired by Yemen rebels. I mean, they blew that sucker up before it hit a royal palace there in Saudi Arabia, you guys. I don't know what's going on with
Probably
Saudi.
had the Patriot missile.
That's what I was thinking, Jimmy. You mentioned those intercepted missiles that we have, but this was Saudi Arabia, and they knocked down these missiles They were ballistic missiles. Me and Chad was talking about ballistic today. I don't think they were nuclear, but ballistic. And Chad was telling me what ballistic means.
Well, do you see what Nikki Haley she had for evidence?
No.
When they bombed Riyadh,
gosh.
the airport in Riyadh there, they got the bomb. They took it out and they declassified it so she could show the world.
Yes.
And pointed out the spot saying this is like having Iran's fingerprints.
Yes.
Now,
There was even the company name on the thing, and it's from Iran.
Well, let me lay in on what I was telling Donald, and Les, you'll know, and Jimmy, you'll know as well. A ballistic missile is like a ballistic rifle shell that comes out of a rifle. Got me? A ballistic tip is, once it penetrates bone, metal, whatever, that's what it destroys. The thing about the ballistic missile, the thing about a ballistic missile, if you put a nuclear warhead on top of that, then it spreads completely.
But I just wonder
Right,
where
you're going 12 miles in one big direction.
So
That's
you guys,
exactly right, Jimmy.
do you guys think that Saudi Arabia? You think we're selling them like these Patriot missiles? Are we selling Saudi?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're still gonna.
Yeah.
They're buying planes, everything military they get from us.
Well, what about the Yemen rebels? Are they getting United States weapons, or are they getting their weapons from like Russia or China?
Probably Russia through Iran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iran.
Well, they're getting them. I'm not going to say where I work at. That's classified information, but Lockheed Martin is selling a lot of stuff to Israel right now, and that's only to Israel. That's it.
Oh, we're gonna get to the Israel topic again here in a minute because there has been more breaking news, you guys. But I want to bring up something different, you guys, tonight. Because this happened here a while back, but I hope you guys looked this up, by the way, and I hope I pronounced this guy's name, his last name right. But his
Go
name,
for it.
There's a guy. His name is Dwayne Emer or Emmer. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Dwayne Emer.
His last name is Amer.
Okay.
You'd be correct.
And he was sentenced. To do a year and 1 day in federal penitentiary. And this guy, what he did, he rode around on a horse. I think his name was Hellboy, and he carried a flag with him. And what it was, he was on this big federal land reserve, and he dug a trench. You guys, he dug a trench to save his life and maybe some of his friends' life from the FBI. And the thing is, the trench was simply just a place to retreat if he was shot upon. Now, Dwayne has a horse, like I said, a horse named Hellboy, and he carries around an American flag. Now, Dwayne also served, you guys, listen to this, 10 years in the Army. He put 10 years of his life in the Army. And he's got to turn himself in on January the 24th of next year. And he plans on riding his horse to turn himself in on. He's going to take one last ride. But I would urge everybody out there listening to this radio show tonight to look this story up. His name's Dwayne. To me, he's a hero and a patriot. And Les and Chad and Jimmy, if you want to say anything else on that, go ahead.
Well, I tell you, Donald, I've kept up with that situation from the get-go with Cliven Bundy and Ammon and Ryan Bundy. Where LaVoy Finicum was gunned down.
Now, was Dwayne involved with this, Les? Was Dwayne Emmett involved with this?
He was there with them. He was a supporter, and he was there with them. And as far as I know, I don't know this for sure. I don't even know if he carried a gun or not. Some people did, some didn't. This was all escalated by the United States government, the Bureau of Land Management, this Love guy that was head of the BLM. And, boys, I tell you what, if our government agencies ever committed treason, brother, it's in this incident right here. The court's still going on. They finally released Ryan and Hammond Bundy, but they got leg monitors on. They're in Nevada now, over that deal at the Wash, where the BLM come in, took Cliven's cattle, and they slaughtered a bunch of them cattle. They shot them. There's video of them burying the cattle that they shot, and it was their claim for doing what they done was, it was hurting the environment. Cliven had too many cattle, and it was hurting the environment. And these tortoises, they tied it all back into that. So they seized a bunch of his cattle, and a lot of the patriots and the Bundys, they gathered at the Wash to go get Cliven's cattle back. It was all illegal what the government done, and the court, they're having a lot of closed sessions of court. They're trying their best to railroad these boys. All right, but I'm telling you right now that what's his face? It's got to turn himself in.
Dwayne Emmett.
Yeah, Dwayne. Now he will turn himself in. He's going to do what's right, I guarantee it. But they railroaded him. He dug that trench using the backhoe that was
excavator. Yeah.
At that Mulmer refuge, and that was a self-defense tactic. They were surrounded. They had the FBI agents surrounding them. They had snipers surrounding them. The government absolutely escalated this situation, and it's very simple. It's about Uranium One and Harry Reid, brother. You can run that into the bank, son. That's what this was all about. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm right, there's only like 2 ranchers and maybe 3 left in that part of the territory. The federal government, they claim they own like 80% of Nevada.
I'm going to take to that in a minute, Les. I will get to that. And you guys are going to be surprised. What about
now,
Chad?
It's terrible what they're doing to these boys, but I believe the Bundys are going to beat this, brother. They spent over a year in prison over this nonsense. And when that boy dug that trench, what was in his mind, brother, was Waco and Ruby Ridge.
You can bet your life on it.
What was on his mind. And you go all the way back to Wounded Knee, brother, where our federal government slaughtered, murdered over 200 of the, I believe they were Sioux Indians, men, women, and children trying to take their guns. So you better believe our own government, agencies in our federal government, has a reputation for murdering the American people.
Well, Chad or Timmy, you want to talk about Dwayne Emmett, or do you want to say anything about it?
Actually, I do, Donald. I mean, you brought up a great point, and Les has a great point as well.
Sure he does.
Yeah, and Jimmy. Well, I've got the old Brooklyn boy, you know what I'm saying?
It's not Brooklyn, it's Boston.
Boston, baby, Boston. I apologize, Boston. I walked across that bridge 3 times last November. I'll be honest with that. But
I go to New York and I can't understand any of them either.
Yeah, I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. But now, to be honest with you, Les hit nail on the head. I don't remember the lady's name that was representing, the tribe there and everything. But what gets me is he dug a hole, and it was when he brought the excavator in there, it was A-OK. That's the way we say it down here in the South. We say, okay, if it's a good deal, it's a good deal. Because, 2 of the people that were shot was off the refugee. And they left the refugee place. But what the problem that I have is, we can agree to disagree, is they somehow or another said that, hey, he was digging beside graves and he was disturbing the graves.
That's what I heard. It was on Indian burial ground, and he had some kind of cable too.
Yes, sir. And right here behind my house, where I live at, we actually have an Indian burial ground, and we're not going to disturb that whatsoever.
Yeah, but how did Dwayne know that? He might not have known that was the Indian burial ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I understand completely what you're saying, but he was digging a foxhole for people to get into.
Foxhole, there you go. Good deal. That's what it was, a foxhole.
You know, go ahead, Don.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. You want to comment on this Dwayne Inman story? I don't know if you know anything about it or not.
I don't know who Dwayne, whatever his name is.
Oh, he just dug a hole on some refuge land. Now, you guys, here's something I'll tell you guys. All three of you guys, listen to this. This is going to blow your guys' mind away. It really will.
Hang on, Donald. I want to let you know right here. He built it around the bird sanctuary. Got me? He
this refuge land owned by the government.
Well, supposedly. But the thing about it is the government only actually owns 20% of that land.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now, you guys. And I looked this up today after I read this story. You guys realize how much land the U.S. federal government owns? Do you realize how much land they own? You're going to be shocked.
Yeah, but Trump's giving it back.
That's exactly right, Jim.
All right. Well, I hope he does.
He did over 1 million acres. I know that so far.
Well, let me tell you. The U.S. federal government owns, right now, 640 million acres. You guys know that's mostly out west. That's 28% of our nation's total surface. 28% is owned by the U.S. federal government. Yeah, but a lot of it is
unlivable. That's the reason why they made them parks.
Like
the Tetons. I know there's more parks out west than there are out here, that's for sure. And the ones that are out here are smaller in area.
Well, you got those, what is that big old park out there, Yellowstone National Park, and all those big, they're federally,
Redwood Forest.
Preserved. Yeah, that one's actually sitting on a big volcano, a big super volcano. I forget the name of that. I think it's Yellowstone, right?
No, it was Yellowstone. I know what you mean. I read that.
Well, I think of Yellowstone sometimes, you guys. I'm sorry.
Quake.
I think about super volcano underneath there. But sometimes when I think about Yellowstone, it reminds me of that old Yogi Bear, that Jellystone National Park. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Jellystone. But anyway, let's move on, you guys. Let's move on.
Now, that is boo-boo.
I wanted to ask each and every one of you guys tonight, if you got a chance to meet the president, and you had a chance to ask him one question or make one statement, what would it be? Now, me personally, I would just tell him, I'd say, Mr. Trump, please stay true to yourself and stay true to the American people, and you'll always have me to back you, brother. Now, Les, you go first, then Chad, then Jimmy. What would you tell the president, or what would you ask him? Only one thing.
I would ask him, now, you remember when he was running, he said that he was going to restore the Constitution of the United States of America. I would ask him, Mr. Trump, Mr. President Trump, when you make that statement and when you implement that, are you talking about the pre-1871, the organic Constitution? Or are you talking about the 1871 Constitution that was all capitalized and the word of was changed to for? Which Constitution are you talking about implementing? The organic one, the original one from our founding fathers, or the one from the Corporation of the United States of America?
Well, I hope he can give you a good answer, Les. Now, Chad, what would you ask the president?
I would ask the president the same thing that that Les just put out there, but I would say this. I would ask him to keep his promise to the United States of America, because it means so much to 63 million and plus Americans here on this in this United States of America, and it goes beyond America. It goes around the whole world.
It sure does.
Jimmy, I'm sorry. Was you done? Was you done, Chad?
I wasn't done, but go
ahead,
ahead, Jimmy.
I didn't know if he was done, Chad. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's such a memorable day for me because it's on my daughter's birthday. You know,
Okay.
and y'all have heard my daughter, H1M. You know, she didn't know at the time that she was singing or saying the Pledge of Allegiance to millions and millions of people around the world. She didn't know that.
Well, she sounded beautiful, but that's what I just want. I like to hear what other people would ask the president. I'm really curious what Jimmy would ask the president. Come on, Jimmy.
Lord,
it's got to be good. Come on, Jimmy. What would you ask him?
I would ask him why. Why would he leave a billionaire's life to take all this shit from the press, the left? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. This is the first president, a politician, I should say, that's trying to make good on all his promises. Not just one of them and say, fuck the rest. He's going for all of them. I hope he gets this tax bill through. I really do.
Jimmy, I'm going to interrupt all of you right here, right now. Jimmy, I'm going to tell you something. We got a President Donald J. Trump in office. Got me? And whenever I talk to Donald Whisman in Ohio, Donald, what do I always say?
He called me the president of Ohio, and I'd laugh every time.
And I say, hey, and I don't say it the Brooklyn way. I say y'all both get screwed at each end of the party. You know.
Here lately it has, but you guys, I want to go on here, you guys, because we're getting down here. You guys know. Good old Alec Baldwin, he's back at it again. He came back on Saturday Night Live. He's doing this skit as Trump decorating the White House Christmas tree. Hey, you guys, I don't think it's funny. He was talking about it's okay to say Christmas again. He was mocking our president, you guys. Alec Baldwin, you are a washed-up has-been that never was. And Alec Baldwin, you're not. No Dana Carvey. Now Dana Carvey's skits were funny. He did a really good George Bush Sr. impressions. But I'll tell you what, Alex Baldwin, you are no Dana Carvey, and it's pitiful what you do to our president. I don't like it. I don't like the way he mocks our president.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Donald. He's overboard. He's washed up has been, and he. See, these people, these elites, they're like politicians in a lot of ways, Donald. They think their opinion matters. They think they're cute. They think they think more of themselves than what they really should, and they're just sickening. It's what's that redheaded woman's name that Kathy Griffin? She done the thing with Trump.
Yeah.
Now, boys, I tell you, they hide behind the title of being a comedian, and that's. I'm sick and tired of it, and what the icing on the cake for me probably is, Donald, is they're not equal opportunists. They don't do this with the liberals. They target the conservatives when they do this for the most part, and they just go way out of bounds for me, brother.
All right, Chad, what about you? What do you think about good old Alec Baldwin?
Well, the way I see it, the daggum liberals, I mean, back in the day, it used to be, about the Democrats and stuff like that. But these liberals, I mean, they hide behind their money. They don't hide behind the passion of this United States of America. We got so many men and women serving for this country and who have served and who have passed on serving our rights and duties. And they want to try to take it away from us. I tell you what, I'm going to say this right now, and I don't have an ugly mouth. Piss on them daggum liberals. That's all I have to say.
And Chad, I'm almost scared. I'm almost afraid to ask Jimmy what he thinks about Alec Baldwin. Jimmy, go ahead. What do you think about Alec Baldwin and his stupid skits on Saturday Night Live? Come on, Jimmy.
Break it, brother.
Jimmy? Well, I don't know.
He fell asleep, I think.
I think he fell asleep. Wait. Anyway, I'll move on. Jimmy must be asleep right now. He must have drank too much. I don't know.
You talking to me? Because I got a friend here.
Oh,
you talking to me?
Oh, well, Jimmy, I was going to ask you what you thought about Alec Baldwin and his little skits about Trump on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
I need to say something short and sweet. Short and sweet, Jimmy.
Short and sweet. He's a fucking idiot.
All right, that's better.
There you go.
All right, you guys, we'll move it on. We'll move it on to the next subject.
Brother.
All right, you guys. Last Friday at the FBI Academy graduation ceremony, our president expressed outrage over the violence in Chicago. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but he actually got up on stage there and he said, "What in the hell is going on there?" Talking about Chicago. Now, I think he's been like I don't know. He said that there's been like 3,322 homicides this year in Chicago. The problem to me, you guys, is with Chicago, like President Trump says, what the hell's going on down there? I think the problem is their daggone mayor, and me and Jimmy talked about this last week, Rahm Emanuel. He's the problem. Chicago is a gun-free zone, and it's a sanctuary city, and until they get rid of Rahm Emanuel, Chicago, everything's gonna be bad there in Chicago, just like what's going on in Detroit. Right now, Chicago will end up just like Detroit if they don't get another mayor in there. What do you guys think about it?
Brother, have you ever seen a city, or have you ever seen a state or anything that a liberal has run that hasn't been turned into hell? I mean, it's just a matter of time. This Rahm Emanuel, here's what really, really gets my goat. Okay, he refused. Trump offered to bring in the National Guard in there to help with the crime problem and to bring law enforcement, government law enforcement in there. He refused all that. Okay, but he's willing to bring UN troops in there. Do you believe that crap? Now, he said he's willing to bring in UN troops to help him with his policing problem. Now, fellas, if he would have said that in a real bona fide republic, this sucker would be up on treason charges. Now, that is over the top. And he should be removed from office. He should be tried as a traitor for them comments right there, because he's a traitor to this country. He's a traitor to his people, and there's no excuse for that, Donald. I am highly upset over how. I mean, it's just demonic. I mean, this has gone beyond been a liberal for some of these fools. It just seems it's just like it's like they need to be locked up in the psycho ward, man.
I mean, we're pushing almost 4,000 homicides in Chicago.
Exactly.
And Chad, what do you think about it, man?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Donald. I agree 150% what Les is saying. But the thing about that is, too, I'm going to have to, step it back a little bit. And Jeff Sessions, he needs to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from my own state here in Alabama.
You're right, brother.
And I mean, if he ain't got no daggum Nunes to step up to the daggum plate, I mean, other than to get out there on TV and talk about MS-13, I don't give a crap. Take that man out of Chicago and be done with it.
Jimmy, what do you think about Rahm Emanuel? Come on now.
I can't stand the guy. He's just another Obama hacky.
Leftover.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I need you guys to help me understand this one. This was there. I really don't understand this. I read this story, but you guys, please try to help me understand this. Now, the Trump administration is prohibiting the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, a list of 7 words or phrases in any official documents. Now, I'll tell you those 7 words. It's vulnerable, entitlement, diversity, transgender, fetus, evidence-based, and science-based. I don't really understand what he's trying to do here. What is that, like some kind of liberal talk that he's trying to get rid of, or did you guys read about that?
Well, you forgot to add transracial and vaginas.
Was that? Well, I thought I said 7 of them. Well, what is that all about, you guys? Prohibiting the Center for Disease Controls for using these words on these official documents. I don't understand it, you guys.
Well, he wants straight talk, brother. He wants plain English. The government, you got to understand, Donald, a lot of our government, congressmen and senators, they're lawyers, okay? What a lawyer is a master manipulator of the English language, okay? And they don't even speak the same language. You go into a courtroom, they say, "Do you understand?" And as soon as you say yes, I do, you've entered a contract with them. Okay, now if you don't cooperate, all right, then they can hold you for contempt of court. They can throw you in jail. I mean, it's a different language. And you can get a Black's Law Dictionary, and I think they just come out with the 9th edition. And they're about $60-something. I haven't bought one yet, but I've done some study about the language in our court system. But what they do is they manipulate the English language in the law, in these bills, in their state law. Anywhere where there's a lawyer, brother, you better have a Black's Law Dictionary to interpret what they're really saying, because that's how the American people get trapped in this stuff. And Donald's just wanting to break it down to plain English and take the disguise off of it, because so many things are hidden and disguised in our codes and our statutes, in our city ordinances. That's all code, okay? And it don't mean what you think it means. As common people, it's not a common language. And Trump's just trying to break that barrier so the common people can understand the law. Our founding fathers, they wanted these laws written to where the average man that could read the law and understand it. You can't do that today. Absolutely cannot.
Lawyer talk or doctor talk, I don't understand any of it, you guys. I'm not a sophisticated person at all, and I'm not afraid to tell you guys that. I'm not embarrassed to tell you guys that. I'm a human, and I do make mistakes sometimes when I talk, but I don't care what people think about me anymore. I don't care, you guys.
Yeah. Well, see,
the whole thing about it is, I agree less 110%. Working with the government, they go by acronyms. You understand what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
They only go by 3 or 4, maybe 5 letters. That's what an acronym is, as far as in government terms. And you got to figure out those acronyms. And Donald J. Trump, he don't want no part of it. He wants to go back to the simple way, basic way, and that's the way it goes.
Right.
What do you think, Jimmy? What do you think, Jimmy, about these words he's trying to ban? Jimmy must not be listening. Well, anyway, you guys.
But now, as far as going back to the words that he's talking about, Donald, is, he's hitting a home run with that.
Yeah.
Because, it is what it is. If it's a daggum twat is a twat. You know, I mean, back in those days, we used to call it split tails. You know, he just wants to go back to the simple way of doing things and saying things in the proper and professional manner without being PC correct. Am I right, Les?
Correct.
Let me give you an example of that, okay? When I got into the building codes here,
Remember, we got about 2 minutes left, Les. So
when I got into the building codes, okay, to see what I could build and how big I could build it and how I could build it, a shed in our building code here in Warren County, a shed can be a tarp thrown over some poles with no sides around it. If you put a cover over top of, say, your boat, that's a shed. Now, if that ain't a bunch of horse crap, brother, I don't know what ain't.
Well, I want to give you guys a really quick analogy. You guys know, ever since I've been doing videos and doing this radio show, one of my goals has been to unite the American people. So I've got another little analogy for you guys, and it's a pretty simple one. Now, you guys all drive cars and trucks. You guys know about the glass on your cars and trucks. And Les and Chad and Jimmy, you know that the side windows, and I think the rear window, they will shatter if you touch them. If you barely touch them, they'll shatter into 1,000 pieces. We're getting ready to go off air. But the front windshield is bonded, 2 pieces of glass bonded together. You can't break it, and that's the way the American people should do. They should bond together. And if the good Lord's willing, like Hank Williams Sr. says, if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, I'll see you guys again next week right here on this show. All aboard.
Amen. God bless y'all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you, Jimmy. And remember, if you want to join a good group, Trump 2020 exclamation point.
Franklin, Ohio. Franklin, Ohio.
Franklin, Ohio.
God bless y'all.
All right, folks. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.